in Brisbane, and I've came all the way till Bundaberg to start my world bicycle journey to raise awareness and inspire people to save our soil. So this action, this effort follows up my previous journey across India, where I've cycled roughly about 15,000 kilometers when I was 16 years old and in my year 10. During COVID, when I was 16, I wanted to become an international cricketer, which like roughly about its dream of 50 million children in India. And then like COVID came and I was back at home, locked up in my room. We had no access to go to playgrounds. So I got this habit of reading books of all kinds, like say philosophy, literature, novels, autobiographies, science, and then after a while I ventured into spirituality. And I got to know about a guy who would be later riding his motorbike from Europe to Middle East to India to inspire people about soil. And he happened to be about 65-year-old at that time. So I was 16 and I was very much inspired, and at the same time I felt a bit of shame for myself and people of my generation that if a 65-year-old guy is doing something like this, why should not a 16-year-old do something about this? So then I researched about soil degradation, how it's going to get extinct in the next few years. I did a research, and what I found like really amazed me to the point that I later decided to do this on a bike by myself. According to a report from FAO, which is an United Nations agency, Food and Agricultural Organization, they're predicting that in the next 25 years, that is by 2050, 90% of our world's soil will be degraded. 90% in the next 25 years, which simply means we'll have no food left to eat. They're also predicting that by 2050, again in the next 25 years, 40% of our food production will go down for a population of 9.7 billion people in 2050. 40%. Imagine like in this pretty amazing town, say 40 like out of 100 people, 40 people does not get to eat food. What will happen? Can we come here, do like farming or go to university or go for work, anything? Is that possible?
Big shootout.
Yeah. So this, imagine that like happening on a global scale. 40% of our food will just go down, simply like that. Apart from that, apart from food security, there's another important thing that people have no clue about it. There was a survey done on a Californian orange, and they are saying that the same orange, if you ate 100 years ago, the level of nutrients you got from it, if you have to get the same amount of nutrients in today's time, you have to eat 8 to 9 oranges. Which means your stomach is getting full, but the nutrients that you require on a daily basis is just not there. So for the people of my generation and beautiful kids like this, we don't have enough nutrients to support ourselves. So these are two important things that really touched my heart, and I thought I'd do a journey on a motorbike. But I was 16 at that time, so I did not have got a license. So I had only other two options, either to do it on a push bike or to walk with the message. Walking with the message would have been pretty rough. I would not have returned home after like decades or in a single piece. So the only other option I had to do it on a push bike. So I was not a cyclist earlier. I just thought like I should do this, and I did a trial run for roughly about 30 kilometers in my city, and I was able to do it. So I did a pretty sort of a mathematics for myself that I can do it for 30 kilometers. So I can do it for thousands of kilometers in India and across the world. So I embarked. This was a secret mission. I didn't told my parents about it. I just asked my friends that why don't you guys join me, and all of them said a big yes. Only for me to find out later that on the day that I'm about to start, no one of them would pick my call. So on that day I just started off. My parents had no clue that I'm doing this. On the day when I called them after leaving the home, and I told like I'll be out of home for the next 15 months. And they just cut the phone thinking I'm just joking with them. After some time they again called me. I told, see boss, I'll be really out of home for the next 15 months. Then I told about my secret mission and planning and what I'm off to do. And it's been like, it took me roughly about 1 month to convince them. But later they got convinced, and it's been pretty well after that. So I've traveled roughly about 15,000 kilometers in India. It took me 15 months, and I've spoken at 250 plus universities. I mostly engage with younger generations who are not going to have food. I engage with many media houses, many newspapers, influencers, people from Bollywood. It's like Hollywood of India. I engaged with cricketers. I engaged with many influential people. They tweeted and spoke about it on social media. I engaged with environmental ministers, state and federal governments. I engaged with everyone from all walks of life, from 1-year-old to 100-year-olds, to inspire them and speak with them that our soil is going to get extinct. And I've touched roughly about like millions of views on social media. It's been an like impactful journey. And after I completed, it was not as simple as I'm putting it right here. Like I went through accidents. I was like riding in night times in jungles, expecting like I may even see some tigers or ghosts, but maybe elephants. But I didn't see like any of them. So there's been like accident on a certain day. I was riding at like 40 kilometers in a downhill. It's not a downhill, it's like flyovers downside. So I felt from there, and like there were pieces of nails and stone chips. It just like ripped my skin super layer. So I've met with accidents and like all kinds of people and everything. And after doing this rough, challenging, painful journey, one thing I told myself after completing this, after 15 months, that this is something that I'm never going to do again in my life. It has been so much challenging, and I can just say, like, apart from homesickness, not meeting your friends or family, there's like lots of challenges that I just can't say in a few minutes. So I thought I won't do this again. But after like having this much exposure, meeting people and seeing the on-ground condition of people, especially farmers, I thought I was like in sort of introspection mode. I went to a eco village sort of a setup. I stayed for a few months there, thinking like what should I do with my life? Like doing business, doing a job, like doing what people do, making a family would not make a sense for me. I wanted something like something happening on a bigger scale, something which is much more impactful, which touches people's life. And then after a few months of introspection, I thought like I should do this again on an international level. And this time I had an option to do it on a motorbike. I would get a license because I'm 19, but I chose to do this on a push bike because this will really inspire and touch people's heart. So then I decided and planned to start this from Australia particularly. My initial plan was to start from Europe, then go to US, then to Australia. But I changed it to Australia to start it from here, particularly from Bundaberg, because of like sustainable agricultural practices on a big scale happening there. And Australia is one of the single countries across the globe which has something like National Soil Mission. So this is the only country, and this is something that every other nation should follow. There's a lot to be done here in this nation, but this is one example that every other nation should follow. So I'll be speaking about Australia and particularly Bundaberg, all the places, 20 countries that I'm visiting. So I started this journey from 21st March, just 5 days before, from Bundaberg, from a place called Hammock, the volcano. Yeah, Hammock. And it's been like I went to Childers, I went to Maryborough, then Gympie, then yesterday to Kuroi, and today I'm heading towards Kenilworth, then off to Crystal Waters, then Caboolture, then Brisbane. I'll be cycling all the way till Adelaide, covering most of East Coast, going to major cities like Brisbane, Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and to Adelaide will be the last stop. I'll be also visiting New Zealand, I'll visit Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, 12 countries in Europe, starting from Italy, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Germany, Australia, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Netherlands, Belgium, then Luxembourg and France, and then I'll go to UK and US. So this will take me roughly about 15 months of journey and 20,000 kilometers of pedaling my bike, and I aim to reach 1 billion people on social media. As of now, just in the 5 days, I've touched about 330,000 views on social media. Wow. So this been already pretty much impactful. I spoke to ABC Radio yesterday. I went to University of Southern Queensland University, two schools in Bundaberg called St. Luke's Anglican School and Norville State School. In Koroy, I've been to a school, and it's been like the response that I'm getting right from day one. It's been absolutely fantastic. And especially talking about Australia, people having like more focus on greenery. I can just see the landscapes and people's focus towards nature. So this has been an absolutely wonderful ride. Even though the people are warm, but the sun is also warm. I mean, it's hard to ride in this weather. But since last 2 days, it's been like raining and it's pretty good. But it's been fantastic in simple words. So why is soil going to get extinct? What's happening with the soil? If I have to put it in very simple words, so that even a 5-year-old can understand, our soil is turning into desert, it's turning into sand. If we add organic content, which is plant waste or animal waste, compost, manure, to sand or to desert, it becomes soil. If we remove organic content from soil, it turns into sand. It's a basic difference between sand and soil. And what's happening is, on a global level, not just in India or Australia, on a global level, we are losing organic content in our soil, and which means it's turning into desert. If you open like internet map history of global world map, you will see our whole world, particularly Australia, is turning from green to yellow to orange to red. The soil, the land, you can just see in the map history. And this is one thing that I'm working for, apart from all other worldly issues, say climate change and global warming. Many people know about it, but with soil, people have absolutely no idea that even soil can go extinct. With my interactions and engagements with like young generation, if I ask them where does the food comes from, most of them say it comes from Woolies or Aldi's. If I ask even younger people, they say it comes from Uber Eats. If I say where does the milk comes from, they say it comes from fridge. So people have absolutely no idea that our soil is going to get extinct and we'll have no food, and the food that we are having will have no nutrients to sustain, to give us like enough energy for the day. So I thought like I should make this a super famous topic with my bike ride across the world, so that actions and policies can happen on a bigger scale. I encourage people to do a sort of an experiment with composting and manure and sustainable methods of agriculture in their backyard, in their garden. That is good, that is cute, but that's not a solution. The solution has to happen on agricultural soil, and it has to happen with farmers. They have to turn towards regenerative and sustainable methods of agriculture. Only if that happens, there will be a real solution. So what I'm advocating for is global soil policy, that each and every nation should draft a policy, a law, a concrete law for themselves, that if someone owns, let's say, an acre or a hectare of soil, for example, they have to maintain 3 to 6% of organic matter in the soil. Only if that happens, we can protect soil for next generations. This has to be established in law, and the politicians, the leaders, the corporates, and they should establish something like think tanks and research facilities and infra to make this possible. So my journey is to make this a super famous topic across the world. Every person should know that our soil is going to get extinct. And I believe if I say that you have this disease, you have this problem, people are smart enough to do something about it. So this is my mission. This is what I want to do in the next 15 months. Make this a super famous topic. And all of you happen to be farmers, if I'm not wrong. All of you should speak about your stories on social media, with your friends, with your family. Speak about soil particularly. Make it a super famous topic. Only if that happens can the real solution, can the real impactful solution can happen. So that's all. That's my mission. That's my impact that I want to create. That's what I want to do in the next few years of my life. Thank you very much, all of you.